Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to talk about my views on vulnerability and how important it is. Let's get right to it. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the notification for upcoming videos. Vulnerability, though it's risky, it can be a beautiful thing, especially if you're vulnerable to the right person, whether it's in a friendship or in a relationship, or if you're trying to connect with somebody, and if you're trying to understand them more. It's one thing to understand a person in general, but when you're actually vulnerable or both sides, you and the other person vulnerable with each other, then it's like you understand them more because then you'll find out that you learn a lot when someone's vulnerable or when you're vulnerable with somebody. So yes, being vulnerable is risky, but it's worth it in the end. Cause then if vulnerable exposes something, so you can tell after when you're vulnerable, because usually you when you're vulnerable, you you're basically exposing yourself, exposing your weakness, the weak side of you when you're vulnerable about something, like whether you're going through something or you know what I mean. But at the same time, when I feel something, I think some people might look at it and look at a weakness, but it can actually be a strength. You know what I'm saying? It depends on how you see it, but it can be a strength. That's for sure. So, just some people still have willing to be vulnerable to a point where it doesn't matter, you know, how hard it is. I mean, it's not easy in general, especially if you're not used to doing it. You have, for a person who's not used to doing it, of course, it's going to be challenging. No, in order to, you do have some person who rather be vulnerable in that safe space where they won't be judged or condemned. That's what you want to try. In order to get a person to be vulnerable, really, it comes down to trust. That's really the factor here. If the trust is there, then and the safe space there as well, there's a likely chance where if you're lucky enough, they may be vulnerable with you, and they know that and that person know you won't use the vulnerability against them. Then it's a chance where So, like I said, when you're vulnerable sometimes or at times, really, you're really exposing yourself towards. You find a lot is after when you're vulnerable, because you can learn a lot and everything. So you can find out how much you really trust a person. And in order to really know to trust a person, a lot of times it comes down to be moments where you're at your most weakest or your lowest. And all there. Those are moments where a lot of times you find out a lot. Especially after you're vulnerable, like again, what you're going through, or if you have a bad day, how by being vulnerable, you're actually showing your emotions, like how you really truly feel it. You're not just, you know. So, and when it comes down to it, for me, when I being vulnerable, like that times can be tough, especially as a male. For males to be vulnerable at times can be really tough in general because it's like, and I always say this, it's like women are humans and men are robots. How can be vulnerable? That makes no sense. That's ridiculous. We're human beings, so we're supposed to allow to sometimes take off or we call it shiny armor. I mean, it's good to wear shiny armor on a regular basis, the concept is really strong. But as I say, it's okay not to be okay. And to be vulnerable, you gotta be honest with yourself too. So there are plenty of factors of this vulnerability thing. Plenty of factors to look at when it comes to vulnerability. So you have to be honest with yourself. That's what it starts with first, especially about your weaknesses and how you feel. And I mean, like I said, it can be really challenging, especially as a male. And yes, I mean, it can challenge me for anybody, even females too, but even more so for males, because it's available out there. It's okay for a female to be vulnerable, but it's not really okay for someone for a male to be vulnerable. It's like if a male is vulnerable, it's like you get. It's one of those you got to be kidding me. And you have some males where they may tell a story about the title vulnerable to somebody, a female, and get used against them, and then you may look at that and say, "You see, sure." But yeah, I'm not going to let you use the phone against me again, and I see that. I mean, I can answer if I have it constantly, then that's to do with story, that okay. can't be with that person, especially if you constantly doing it and it's against you constantly. But how do you decide to keep with them if you know there's a possible chance of using it against you? I mean, for me, after a while, I just make up my mind and say, you know what, screw this. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z. And if you want to use it against me, go right ahead. I ain't scared of vulnerable. Probably the time I was, but I'm not scared to do it at any time, especially if I believe it can help other persons. The beauty of it, you can actually help other persons, that's what I do. I just expose myself for the heck of it. You know what I mean? And I know the risk of being vulnerable, especially as a male, and the risk of potentially whatever I'm vulnerable, both can get used against me. So I know the risk behind it, but the time you just gotta take the risk anyway. Even though potentially, you just hope that the upside you get more rewards than not when you do stuff like this, And like I said, I've gone to a place where with this vulnerability thing to a point where I just like just willingly just like I said, I'm doing it for reasons, It's not like I just get up and saying, you know what, I'm just gonna be vulnerable for it. I have my reasons for doing it, so it's not like I just. But there was a time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be vulnerable, yeah, man. But like I said, I believe it's okay to embrace your emotions, If you don't embrace, if you don't let how you feel, your emotions going to eat you up. So that's why, that's like I said, and let's say if you're in a relationship and you're vulnerable, that one person that really loves you, even if that person is not perfect, because they're not. You have persons who are vulnerable to a point where in a relationship where you don't, if you know, and when you vulnerable to a person in a relationship, you give them the power, they can hurt you, because they have that one thing they can use against you. So there's a risk with the vulnerability thing. There's a risk behind it. It can get used against you and it can be hurtful too. Might be more hurtful than if someone else that don't like you hit you, because the person you're in a relationship with can actually hurt you. Especially it depends on the level of vulnerability you guys share and all that there. And it's just a relationship with the vulnerability thing. It comes from you have this thing called intimate conversations. I think that's what I've heard about. That's where usually where you're vulnerable with your partner, who you're with, and all that thing there, and then you share your deepest fears and whatever, and all that thing there. You know what I mean? So. But vulnerability can be a beautiful thing, especially if you share with the right person and that person who can really hold it down with care and won't use against you and all that thing there, and there are times where for me, as I said, I had moments where I wasn't scared to just share how I feel about something out in there. But like I said, I realized the challenges come with it, the risks. But like I said, I got to a place where I already know the risk prior. I'm conscious of the risk, but I just take the risk them anyway. Guys, but I expose myself and I can expose everything else. The beautiful thing is if it's vulnerable about X, Y, and Z, then it may take time. Eventually, it's gonna play out in the long run and all that thing there. And going that deep with this topic, especially about but this is just my view of it. As I said, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's risky but beautiful. You can let a life be vulnerable and I did I went that deep with this vulnerability thing. I did share a little bit about what it's like, but I'm vulnerable. I tell you, I'm not going more details with it about where I really had that myself. You know what? I'm going vulnerable with S1C, and then I think I might do a video before they're done. So it's my video of my views on vulnerability. So and you can also have a friendship as well. I want to do vulnerability. You can build bonds. So that's the beautiful of it. I guess it's risky, but it can be a beautiful thing. It can build your relationship and friendship as well. So yeah. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notification for upcoming videos.